What if the final words of Jeffrey Epstein could rewrite everything you believe about his death in prison and the powerful people he knew all too well? A federal judge just released a purported suicide note that Epstein allegedly wrote in his cell 1 month before he was found dead in 2019. This explosive document was discovered by his former cellmate Nicholas Tartaglione, who is a convicted murderer and ex-police officer serving multiple life sentences today.
The note surfaced right after Epstein's first suicide attempt in July of 2019, when he was found unconscious with a cloth around his neck in jail. You might be wondering why this note stayed sealed for 7 years until the New York Times petitioned the court to bring it into the open now. The note boldly declares, "They investigated me for a month, found nothing, and it is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye."
It concludes with, "No fun, not worth it," underlined in what appears to be Epstein's handwriting, according to the unsealed court records released this week. Judge Kenneth Karras of the Federal District Court ruled that the document is a judicial record subject to the presumption of public access without authenticating its authorship or truthfulness at all. This event ties directly into the broader Epstein Files Transparency Act signed last year, which forced the release of millions of pages earlier in 2026. Epstein's death has always fueled intense conspiracy theories suggesting he was murdered to silence his connections to elites in politics, business, and intelligence circles worldwide. Official reports from the Medical Examiner and Justice Department maintain that he died by suicide, but prison failures like broken cameras and sleeping guards raise serious doubts. You can see how this note might support the suicide narrative by showing his early despair, yet it also reignites questions about why it was hidden so long. You can see how this note might support the suicide narrative by showing his early despair, yet it also reignites questions about why it was hidden so long. The timing of this release coincides with ongoing geopolitical in Devor. Powerful stakeholders from both political parties have ties to Epstein that continue to haunt public trust in institutions and the justice system as a whole. As an investigative journalist, I have followed this case for years, and this unsealing represents a rare victory for transparency in one of America's darkest scandals. Yet it also highlights how much remains unknown about the full extent of Epstein's network and the protection he may have received from influential friends. The cellmate Tartaglione has spoken publicly about finding the note in a book inside their cell after performing CPR on the unconscious Epstein that fateful night. No one has verified the handwriting or the exact circumstances, but the public now has access to this key piece of the puzzle for the first time. This development comes just months after the Department of Justice dumped 3.5 million pages of Epstein-related documents under the transparency law passed in late 2025. Immediate implications include renewed scrutiny of prison protocols and potential calls for further investigations into Epstein's associates who have avoided full accountability to this day. You, the viewer, deserve to know every detail because this story touches on power, corruption, and the limits of justice in our modern world today. The broader context reveals a clear pattern of elite impunity that this note both challenges and perhaps cleverly distracts from in the fast-moving current news cycle we see. Understanding these facts is crucial if you want to grasp why Epstein's case refuses to fade away even years after his death in federal custody. Now that you have the full background on this breaking event, we can dive deeper into what it really means and the hidden layers beneath the surface. But let's peel back these layers right now, because what this note truly reveals goes far beyond a simple suicide declaration, and you deserve every hidden detail here. The wording feels too composed, too defiant for a man supposedly planning his own exit, yet it conveniently supports the official suicide story. You have to wonder, why surface this now after 7 years of silence when the New York Times finally demanded access and the judge approved without any verification of authenticity at all? Recall how Tartaglione, the ex-cop serving life for murder, discovered the note in a graphic novel inside their shared cell right after Epstein's first attempt failed badly. The Department of Justice admits seeing this document for the first time, despite holding Epstein in federal custody, and that admission alone should outrage every citizen watching today. This ties straight into the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed late last year, forcing millions of pages out in January, but critics call those releases heavily redacted and incomplete. You have to ask if this note is the real deal or a carefully planted distraction from the real bombshells still buried in those missing files from powerful names. The timing screams political theater because midterms loom large this November and tensions with Iran keep boiling over in the Middle East right now. Powerful elites on both sides of the aisle have everything to gain when public outrage shifts from war talks and election scandals to this old Epstein drama again. Hypocrisy runs deep when the same system that failed to protect Epstein in jail now pats itself on the back for the selective transparency moment you see. Prison guards slept, cameras failed, and protocols vanished, yet somehow this note survived 7 years to emerge exactly when it serves certain agendas perfectly today. Independent experts question the handwriting match and psychological tone suggesting it could be forged to shut down murder theories once and for all, you think? Beneath the surface, the real undercurrent points clearly to intelligence agencies possibly involved in protecting Epstein's network even after his death in custody here. This release cleverly buries fresh calls for accountability from victims and whistleblowers who demand full, unredacted files on billionaires and politicians linked to him. You can feel the outrage building as ordinary Americans watch the powerful once again control the narrative around one of the biggest scandals in modern history. Forward thinking reveals how this could erode trust further in our justice system, making voters question every institution heading into those critical midterm battles ahead. Geopolitically, the distraction helps soften focus on U.S. proposals for Iran peace deals that carry massive risks for global energy markets and security, you realize. Hidden agendas emerge clearly when you connect the dots between Epstein's old connections and current power players still pulling strings behind closed doors everywhere. Nuanced observation shows the note supports suicide on paper, but fuels conspiracy fires, making the public more divided and easier to manipulate long-term. What if this is not closure, but another layer of smoke designed to protect the untouchable elite network that Epstein helped build for decades now? My independent analysis suggests the true significance lies in how it exposes the selective nature of justice when it suits the establishment perfectly here. Viewers like you are waking up to these patterns, and that awareness is the real threat to those who thrive in the shadows of power today. Yet even more layers await discovery, because the full picture involves cascading effects on public faith elections and international relations we cannot ignore anymore. These undercurrents demand we press further into the broader implications that could reshape how we view power, corruption, and accountability in the years ahead, you see. As we synthesize all the evidence, the note emerges as a pivotal moment exposing how selective justice operates in the shadows of elite influence today. Socially, it accelerates the erosion of public trust in institutions as everyday citizens question whether true justice ever reaches those at the very top now. Economically, this distraction protects volatile markets linked to Iran peace talks, where oil prices and investor confidence remain precariously balanced amid global uncertainties, you see. Geopolitically, it skillfully diverts public attention from critical United States proposals that might reshape Middle East alliances and long-term energy security for regions ahead. Technologically advanced algorithms on social media platforms are rapidly amplifying conspiracy theories around the note, turning it into powerful viral fuel for societal division worldwide. Long-term consequences include rising voter skepticism that could dramatically influence the 2026 midterm elections by amplifying elite scandals in battleground states. Strategic ramifications strike powerful stakeholders as renewed scrutiny threatens the reputations of politicians, billionaires, and intelligence figures still entangled in Epstein's shadow network today. Potential risks include sharply increased polarization that weakens national unity precisely when such unity is essential against foreign threats such as those from Iran right now. Yet exciting opportunities arise for genuine reform if this note sparks unstoppable public demands for complete unredacted files along with stronger prison accountability measures moving forward. Systemic impacts continue rippling through the justice system by highlighting selective transparency that protects the powerful while ordinary citizens cry out for meaningful change immediately. My comprehensive synthesis demonstrates that the note offers no real closure, but instead acts as a calculated pivot point in the ongoing battle for truth. Looking forward, one plausible scenario involves fresh leaks surfacing within the next few months that trigger explosive congressional hearings dominating the election cycle ahead. Another realistic possibility features this story generating significant international diplomatic pressure on key allies, including Britain, regarding unresolved Prince Andrew connections in surprising directions you see. Well-reasoned predictions indicate that sustained public outrage could lead directly to stronger transparency legislation, but only if dedicated viewers like you maintain relentless pressure constantly. Cascading effects might empower more whistleblowers and victims to pursue justice aggressively, creating a powerful domino effect against long-standing elite impunity across borders. The true climax of this story arrives when society decides whether it will tolerate the persistent shadows of unchecked power or finally insist on complete sunlight everywhere. Picture a brighter future where Epstein's entire story successfully dismantles hidden networks of influence, ensuring absolutely no one remains above the law in our system. That inspiring possibility motivates me deeply because it demonstrates how ordinary, committed people like you possess the real power to drive meaningful systemic change through awareness. Therefore, as this full investigation reaches its conclusion, please remember the critical undercurrents we have uncovered together represent your personal call to action for truth. Which specific theory about this mysterious suicide note connects most strongly with your own personal perspective and deep understanding at this very moment right now? Share your thoughts in the comments section below and let everyone know if you believe this development truly changes everything or absolutely nothing at all in the end. Smash that like button hard if you support full unredacted file releases and want real prison reforms to prevent future scandals like this one forever. Share this important video widely with friends and family to help awaken more viewers who desperately need to understand the bigger picture unfolding before us now. Thank you for joining this fearless deep dive, because together we are the force that holds power accountable and shapes a better future starting right now today.